What is up, guys? I am BRETTVARG, bringing you episode 2 of my Let's Talk series, and this episode will be covering the map Harbor. Harbor is a weird map because it was in the beta. Some of us have tons of playtime on it, including myself, and others just got it when the game came out, so this may be new to you. If this is not your first rodeo with this map because you've played it since the beta and just played a shit ton of it because it was like 3 maps in the beta, then this might not be the best one for you, but I'm going to cover it anyway. Harbor's a weird map is because in the last episode when we talked about in Let's Talk Gridlock, I mentioned how we're going to start skipping power weapons in episodes because of certain strats that we're trying to accomplish, and that's beginning in this episode. Now, if you notice, I don't take anyone to nades, and that's very specific, and I'm going to talk about why and how we're going to cover nades still, but assume they're going to be picked up. We're going to go down the list. Yellow and pink have one role in this whole entire map. They have to get drop shot. They have to. Drop shot is so essential because of the M bar being in the map and the sniper. Drop shot is the only thing that's pretty much, if they get the M bar, they can just fuck you over by standing up on the stern and having people protect, and no one guy just taking pot shots at your head, and eventually he's going to hit, and it sucks, and they just keep doing it. So drop shot is key, and it's really hard to get after this if they have the M bar setup going on. So again, drop shot, let's get it. I put pink and yellow there and not sending one to nades because of how detrimental drop shot can be for this map. Their job is to crossfire and grab it. Use your smoke grenades, use everything. There's people who come around who will try to flank. That's where we'll talk about that though, and I'll cover that and how we're going to prevent the flank. They have to seriously work on this. They have to be well enough that they can provide lancer fire to each other and allow them to move up and bounce between the walls and get up to a point where they can grab drop shot. The thing with drop shot in this map though is that where it picks up, they can fire you from the sides. Not only can there's no cover around you, like from pretty much from your feet all the way up to your head is exposed while picking up drop shot if you're going like looking from the sides where Boltok is. So it's very, very difficult to do, and you can't really see them when they're under cover, so they can have free shots at you and you don't get free shots at them. So I recommend having pink be a really good shot or yellow be a really good shot. Make sure you can lay down the fire and keep their heads away and use smoke grenades properly. Like, real quick pro tip I'm going to get out. When you throw a smoke grenade, don't go right where the gun is planted. Kind of like stay off to the left or right or somewhere around it because you can pick it up still. And I don't think people understand that. You don't have to stand on top of the gun. So I always mentioned in my the Gridlock video where you can just spray into the smoke and just stand off to the right or left. It kind of beats that. So there's how you beat that process that I just told you about in the last episode. We're going to have the next one, which is Red. Now, Red has to be the best player on the team. He has the hardest job because he is pretty much doing like 20 things at once. How Red has to leave the spawn is he's going to go run through. He's going to run past the entrance to the shock grenade and go to that second entrance and then go down that bridge. And then he is going to wrap around on the winch. He has to take on a one-on-one firefight at the Nasher. And sometimes it's difficult because of, if they got there first or, timing and stuff. So he has to take on a one-on-one firefight, a very close, very intimate firefight, so it's going to be tons of damage taken probably. It's going to be settled in 1 or 2 shots. So very key that he is accurate and very key that he knows how to use a Nasher and maybe even wall bounce. I haven't covered wall bouncing. I don't know if I ever will. People have asked for it, but I guess I'll get around to it someday. And he has to just be very, very key on winning this firefight because he has to, for one, win the firefight. Then he has to move on to job 2. Job 2 is then deciding where does he go next. His main purpose is to get in bar. However, if he sees someone going nades, he has to then warn pink and yellow via a tag or communication, and he has to shoot at them to prevent to prevent the guy advancing with the nades. This is very, very hard to do because sometimes the angle's bad, but if he can get the guy to run the other way back towards their spawn, that's good enough. He's done his job. Then he has to run from winch up to the stern, up that like straight path, and manage to flank. This is very difficult because that straight path has 0 cover and you're open to all kinds of fire. So if you get spotted, you're kind of SOL, and there's nothing much you can do. However, this is the strat that I think is best and the one that I think works. If he can get up behind the stairs, he can get an easy 2 kills because the enemy is focusing on blue and green. However, if he gets seen, he might have to abort and go right on that like secondary bridge and try to flank that way, or might have to go back behind and give the guys a drop shot if they still haven't acquired it, some backup and flank those guys. This all depends. Very, very open-minded player that he has a role, and his role might have to be abandoned because of the difficulty of it. And that's kind of like where I cover running away. Sometimes you have to. Blue and green have to give crossfire across the Embar and to attract people. All they want to do is bring them the aggro and make sure everyone's focusing on them, which allows Red to get that successful. Like, a good player will check their sides. If a player dies going some winch, and they'll mention to their team, but it's kind of it's a toss up, and when it works well. It can get jammed pretty easily, but if that's so, green and blue can help Red out. It has a very good like teamwork oriented idea of who can help each other and being able to get enough damage downrange to kill someone, get them down out of the game for the respawn. This is very, very easy, and in terms of like red and blue or green and blue, is all they have to do is provide Lancer fire. The only time their job becomes difficult is the second they decide red needs help, and they have to decide on that to then get out their Nashers and push and take on a very open area with zero cover and poles, which are kind of hard to play around with another guy in 1v1s. They have to decide when they're going to do that and how, and be effective. It is a very difficult role if the advance from the enemy team does happen at the Embar. The only other variant of this setup that I like more than this one, not even more, just I like alongside that you can run as a mixture, or if you don't like this one, is to have pink run nades. I think it's fine. I mean, if you want to do it that way, you can. Essentially all the rules stay the same, except pink grabs nades and runs around and flanks for the drop shot to help yellow out, and whoever, that's it. That's the only difference that I can think of. I really don't know what else you could do besides that. I think red's very key to allow the blue and green not to have that flank happen to them that I mentioned earlier on, that I think is kind of not seen, but I use it. The only thing that you can really like do is have blue or green grab a shock nade that's not bad and just toss it at them, toss it at their stairway so that they can't come up it. Then it becomes really easy to grab Embar. And I think that's very nice and easy and simple. So that's one thing you should be doing, not an option. And that's about it. I mean, I really don't know what else to cover on this. If you guys like the series, please comment below. Give me ideas on how to improve it, what you like, what you dislike. Give this video a big old thumbs up. And subscribe. I do try to work on these every day. Sometimes I don't get to. Finding pictures is super hard, and I could go into the explanation of finding pictures online and how shitty that it can be trying to edit some of those. Because before you know this, if you notice, blue has a little fucking player on the screen. There's also 4 other players on the map that I've edited out via magic that you don't see because I just painted over them with a nearby color of the screen, so you can't really tell where they are. Thank you guys for watching.